Good morning, guys. Just waiting for Gerald to show up. We got the 300mm with the 2x converter on it today. 30 degrees already at 8:30 in the morning. We're gonna head into the woods here where it should be a little cooler, and we're in search of the Green Heron. That is today's mission. So as soon as Gerald gets here, that's what we're doing. So dogs are welcome, Gerald, but they must be leashed, and if they poop, you must scoop.
Yeah.
I didn't bring your leash, but I will grab one of these bags just in case, buddy. Okay, so I was just telling Gerald, dang it, guys, I didn't bring pack sack today, and I've got 6% on my battery on the camera. I don't know how that happened. This 20 years I have not done that, so rookie mistake right there. We might have 6-7 minutes worth of shooting I can do, so I'm gonna have to hold off until we see the Green Heron, if we can find it. Gerald's gonna have to shoot all these. There's red starts and a bunch of songbirds, and it's gonna be up to Gerald to capture today's moments, because rookie mistake right here.
Up there on this. What is it?
Oh, right there, yeah.
I can't see it now. Do you see it?
Yep. Well, no sign of the heron yet. Lots of water out there. He could be hiding anywhere. There it is! The heron just landed in the top of that tree way over across the pond. Yeah, he's gone. He literally landed on a tree way over there across the pond. Was here for about 35 seconds. Got a couple of shots and then he's gone. So, a couple hours at the pond, we did see it. It wasn't ideal, but we do know where he's coming, so we'll be back.
We will.
All right, we just walked all the way around the pond and we got to this end and he flew up. He's in that dead tree up there.
I'm a little wet.
The air show is on down at the waterfront today, so that's kind of cool. Gerald and I are getting a bit of a show here down in the swamp. Got a handful of garbage I'm bringing out with me, somebody left. I watch him take off. him, Gerald. Hey guys, just getting ready to head out to the cottage today. Gonna do some kayaking, and I've been working on a solution to the kayak problem for a long time. The kayak problem is that Gary loves photographing from the kayak, but does not want to lose $10,000 in gear when the kayak tips over if we get the camera or the lenses wet. So, I own a Lumix ZS200. I bought this back in like 2019. So this camera is 5 years old. Probably came out in 2018, so it's 5 or 6 year old camera. And the reason I bought this was that it has a 360 millimeter zoom. So is this good enough? It's got a 1-inch sensor. It shoots 4K video. Is this good enough to take in the kayak, put in a top pocket kind of thing, and use for doing photos of wildlife as we're kayaking along the river or the lake? That's what I'm going to find out in this video. All the photos that you guys see in this video will be from this camera. There's no flippy screen on the back. I will shoot some video with it. I even treated myself to a new battery yesterday. So I'm going to throw out another piece of advice, guys. I've been bad in years past. I have bought third-party knockoff batteries for certain cameras, and this is one of them that I did buy a DSTE batteries for it. They came with a charger. There was 2 of them. And I have not used this camera in a couple of years. It was my travel camera because it had such a good zoom. And I went to put one of those batteries in here yesterday. I still have the original Lumix Panasonic battery that came with it. But I went to put one of those knockoff batteries in here, and it was so swollen that it wouldn't fit, and I couldn't even get it in the camera. So I looked at the other one I had, and it was the same thing. They may have been charged a dozen times between the 2 batteries or less. So just from sitting on the shelf, that's what happens with these cheap Chinese batteries, is they swell. And if you get that stuck in your camera, I mean, I wonder too about things like explosions or leaks. You know, these things that it's in my house, it's not out in the truck in a hot, you know, what would happen if you left this in your truck and it got hot? So I treated myself to a brand new Panasonic battery for this. So we're gonna have 2 original batteries, and I'm thinking of using this as a kayak camera. Is it gonna be good enough? Let's go find out. All right, we're just waiting for the girls to finish loading up. Gage is always so impatient, but I'll just tell you guys. So this camera has 24 millimeter wide to 360 millimeter zoom. And we'll start by taking a picture of Gage right here in the truck. So 24 is great for landscapes, stuff like that, but it also has, of course, macro mode, so you can shoot. We'll do some macros, close-up stuff. And then we'll take it out in the kayak when we get to the cottage and just see if we can find some birds. I'm not even going to bring a fishing rod or anything today. I just feel like paddling and enjoying nature. Just hanging out in the daisies here, and there's a crab spider right there that we can use the Lumix to take a macro shot of. Not only does this have macro mode, but it has zoom macro, so you can go into 70 millimeters and still shoot small things, but you can be, you know, 8 inches away, something like that. So I'm just kind of walking the country road here down at the cottage and looking for stuff to test this out with. We will get in the kayak shortly. It's kind of windy. The lake is behind me out there. But I've already seen the fox. We've found some butterflies and spiders and things to take photos of. The main reason to use this instead of my phone is that it's 1-inch sensor, so it should be a little better in low light, should add a little bit more depth of field to images. It also has 20 megapixels instead of the 12, which is standard on my phone, and just mostly the zoom feature, because once you put even the phone on 10 times zoom, any more than that, it gets a little iffy. So this camera will do video as well, 4K 30p, or in this case, I'm actually shooting in 1080 60p just to get a little smoother video. There is no flippy screen, so I can't see what I'm recording. Is it actually focusing on me? It should be. With the 1-inch sensor, it should be blurring out the background a little bit, but in terms of autofocus, it's a 6-year-old camera, so it's not going to have the latest and greatest like my Sony's where it's going to eye out of focus. In terms of exposure, I have no idea. Probably not the greatest, but it will do video in a pinch. All right, I made it into the kayak. Now I just need to find something to take a picture of. I guess I better get paddling. So, I found some baby ducks back in the weeds. Chased them around for a little bit, took some photos, did a little bit of video. I'm finding I feel very limited with this camera. The controls, even though it's full manual, they're just not intuitive. I'm just not used to it. It's finicky. 360 millimeters is really not enough zoom to get close on wildlife. So yeah, I mean, I'm out in the kayak. I've got the camera in a pouch, but if I were to tip the canoe, I'd still, you know, it's not waterproof. It's going to be a lost cause, but I'm not losing thousands of dollars in big gear. But I think the photo quality is, I mean, I guess you either get a photo or you don't, right? So I don't know. I'm just being too picky. I want my big camera with the controls right at the tips of my fingers where I know where everything is and it's instantaneous. You know, the camera's on and I'm shooting and the autofocus is just fast and accurate, and there is no comparison between a $20,000 setup and a $600 setup, right? But I knew it. I should have brought my fishing rod. A dragonfly was just skimming across the top of the water beside me, and a nice size smallmouth, maybe a 3-pounder, splashed up and got him, and that was the end of the dragonfly. But I didn't bring any fishing gear today. I am enjoying just seeing everything happen around me, you know, enjoying nature as it is.